Imagine a forest so dense that sunlight barely touches the ground, where silence is broken only by the rustle of leaves or the snap of a twig. Deep in the wilderness of Maine, a man lived in these woods for nearly 3 decades, unseen, unheard, a ghost among the trees. They called him the North Pond Hermit, a shadowy figure who survived alone, stealing just enough to live but never enough to be caught, until one day he was. Who was this man? Why did he vanish into the wild? And how did he survive for 27 years without speaking to another soul? Today, we're diving into one of New England's strangest mysteries, a story that'll make you question what it means to disappear. Stick around, because this tale is as gripping as it gets. Let's set the scene. North Pond, Maine, is a quiet, rural area dotted with vacation cabins and surrounded by thick forests. It's the kind of place where people go to escape the world, but for one man, it was the world. In the late 1980s, residents started noticing odd things. Missing food, clothes gone from laundry lines, batteries vanishing from flashlights. At first, they blamed forgetfulness or kids playing pranks, but the thefts kept happening. Small, precise, never destructive. By the 1990s, whispers spread of a hermit, a figure locals saw only in glimpses, like a shadow moving through the trees. According to a 2013 article in The Guardian, these thefts went on for decades, with over 1,000 break-ins attributed to this mysterious figure. Yet, no one knew who he was or why he was doing it. The legend grew, and so did the curiosity. Was he a survivalist? A fugitive? Or something else entirely? The hermit's ability to evade capture was almost supernatural. Maine's winters are brutal, with temperatures dropping well below zero and snow piling high. Yet, this man survived without electricity, running water, or even a fire, because a fire would have given him away. He lived in a makeshift camp, hidden so well that hikers passed within feet of it without noticing. He used stolen tarps and tents, piecing together a shelter that blended into the forest. He'd raid cabins in the dead of night, taking only essentials: canned food, books, batteries, maybe a pair of boots. Never guns, never valuables, just what he needed to survive. Locals started leaving notes, begging him to stop, but he never responded. It was like he wasn't just hiding from the law, he was hiding from humanity itself. How could someone live like this for so long? What drove him to such an extreme? In 2013, the mystery unraveled. A game warden named Terry Hughes, tired of the hermit's elusiveness, set a trap. Using motion sensors and old-fashioned stakeouts, Hughes caught the thief red-handed breaking into a camp. The man was Christopher Knight, a 47-year-old with no criminal record, no known enemies, and no explanation, at least not at first. According to a GQ feature by Michael Finkel, Knight hadn't spoken to another person in 27 years, except for one brief encounter with a hiker where he mumbled hi and vanished. He wasn't running from the law or a broken heart. He was just done with society. At age 20, Knight had walked into the woods and never looked back. But why? What makes someone erase themselves from the world like that? Knight's story gets stranger the deeper you dig. He grew up in Albion, Maine, a regular kid with a knack for fixing things. He wasn't abused, wasn't in trouble, wasn't chasing some grand philosophy. He just felt out of place in the modern world. One day in 1986, he drove his car to the edge of the forest, left the keys in the ignition, and walked away. He told Finkel he didn't have a plan, just a vague sense that society wasn't for him. Over the years, he became a master of survival, learning to predict weather, preserve food, and move without a trace. He read books he stole, listened to a pilfered radio, but never sought human connection. His only conversation was that one-word greeting to a hiker. Can you imagine that kind of solitude? It's both awe-inspiring and unsettling. But here's where it gets complicated. Knight's survival depended on stealing. He broke into cabins, schools, even a community center, taking just enough to get by. Some locals saw him as a folk hero, a modern-day Thoreau living off the grid. Others saw a thief who disrupted their peace. When he was arrested, opinions were split. The Guardian reported that some residents felt sympathy, leaving food out for him before his capture, while others wanted justice for years of invasions. Knight himself admitted his wrongs, pleading guilty to burglary charges and serving 7 months in jail. He never defended his actions, but didn't fully explain them either. He said he just wanted to be alone, but at what cost? So what's the truth behind the North Pond Hermit? Was he a recluse, seeking freedom, or a man who crossed ethical lines to escape? His story raises big questions about solitude, survival, and morality. Knight reintegrated into society after his arrest, living with his mother and working odd jobs, but he stayed tight-lipped since. Some say he was mentally unwell, others that he was a genius of self-reliance. The woods of Maine still hold his secret camp, now abandoned, a testament to a life lived on the edge of existence. It makes you wonder, could you walk away from everything? And what would it take to make you try? Before we wrap up, let's talk about why this story sticks with us. The North Pond Hermit isn't just a quirky tale, it's a mirror. It forces us to think about why we stay connected to a world that's often loud, chaotic, and overwhelming. Knight's life was extreme, but maybe there's a part of us that gets it, that craves a quieter existence. If you've ever dreamed of escaping, of leaving it all behind, this story hits home. And if you're curious about other mysteries like this, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We've got plenty more to unravel. Drop a comment. Would you ever go off the grid like Knight? Or is the hermit life too much? Let's keep this mystery alive.